Bouncing from one crisis to the next, in part trying to make up for poor decisions, the Fed will likely drive this economy right off the road. No one, and I mean no one, is talking about a soft landing anymore. A better question might be, is anyone flying the plane? Welcome to the Money Runner. I'm David Nelson. Let's start the conversation by agreeing we need to cure the cancer of inflation. An unchecked rise in prices spinning out of control helps no one and risks pushing the U.S. economy further into crisis. However, every oncologist knows that administering chemotherapy at a pace beyond what the body can absorb risks unintended consequences, even death. The Fed says they're data dependent. I'm not buying that. A year ago, with inflation raging, they continued to keep their foot on the accelerator, creating insane moves in asset prices, including commodities, stocks, bonds, houses, and just about every item on the planet that had a price tag. Even after admitting in November last year it was time to retire the word transitory, the Fed continued to buy bonds all the way until March of this year. Markets and data move in real time, yet the Fed seems overly reliant on data sets that are at best backward-looking, ignoring tools made available in the internet age. Big data drives the world today. The importance of data, especially in real time, is understood by the world's most successful technology companies. You search for a new bed on the internet, and minutes later you're getting ads on your Facebook feed for beds and accessories. According to the BLS, that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the CPI dates all the way back to 1912. The BLS recognizes the need to move to alternative data sets, but by definition, government agencies move at a glacial pace. And I suspect today aren't keeping up with the changing face of the American consumer. In a 194-page report sponsored by the BLS, the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine explores methods to advance the process. Scanner data and web scraping are all being used but need to be updated to modern techniques used throughout the industrial complex. Real-time credit card data, shifting your focus to those at the bottom of the income ladder where inflation hits hardest. All of those should take on added importance in models used by the Fed. If Facebook can figure out what you want to buy in real time, I got to believe the Federal Reserve with its infinite resources can modernize and move beyond what increasingly looks like a keep hiking until something breaks mindset. All right, I want to take a step back and take a moment and talk about the unintended consequences that can come from Fed action. The elephant in the room, beyond a stock market pointing to recession, is the rising US dollar. It helps the inflation effort here, but like it or not, we still live in a connected world. The pain being felt, especially in emerging markets, should be a concern for us here. Black swans seem to have a way of popping up where you least expect them. Admittedly, when I started in 1997, I was new to the world of running money, and my skills weren't fully developed. But I don't remember hearing any warnings about the approaching Asian contagion. In July of that year, Thailand probably has the GDP the size of Rhode Island, unpegged its currency to the US dollar, triggering the Asian financial crisis. While the events were taking place a half a world away, it didn't take long for that storm to hit the trading desks at Lehman and every other firm on the street. Between July and November of 1998, many stocks in the financial sector went down more than 40% in just a few weeks. Today, the financial press is starting to report some rising concern within the Federal Reserve. The need to keep rates higher for longer is supported by all, but the pace at which we get there, that might be the subject for a debate. Vice Chair Brainard on Friday said the Fed will need to be restrictive for some time. That isn't news, as all members have been in lockstep with their public comments. However, she added a note of caution on how fast they need to go. In that same Bloomberg article, she cautioned that it will take time for the full extent of tightening to bite down broadly across the economy. That's another way of arguing for some patience starting right now. The Fed also has to be cognizant of the fact that they cannot do this job alone. It does no good for the Fed to continue to drain liquidity while the administration pours it back in. Controversial programs like student loan debt relief only add to the problem. Look, I get it's an election year, and $10,000 to buy a vote may seem cheap, but programs like this just pour fuel on the fire. Additionally, there has to be at least some thought given to the concept that broken supply chains and logistics around the world and the secular struggle of deglobalization are contributing factors to inflation and beyond the Fed's skill set to address. What will prove more damaging than a course correction is an abrupt about-face by the Fed, like the one forced on the Bank of England by pension plans just last week. Cratering UK 30-year bonds push yields up close to 5%, forcing the BOE to step in with a quantitative easing-like move to shore up the market. And just today, Britain's Prime Minister Liz Truss was forced to do an about-face and unwind a tax cut she just promised. In the end, markets often make the decision for you. Coming into 2022, confidence in our Federal Reserve was thin. It was well understood that they were behind the curve and would have to play catch up. Chairman Powell needs to balance his desire to regain that respect with policy that can cure the cancer without killing the patient. If you like today's pod, please post a comment and don't forget to subscribe. And every morning we post the Market Minute to give you just what you need to know to start the day. Thanks for joining. I'm David Nelson.